What's up, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of the 23.
Whoa.
Not 3. Whoa, we went back in time. Episode 23 of the Infinity Flux Letters page. I'm Matt.
I'm Andy.
And this is our bi-weekly show, which is live, that we talk about stuff and we can talk to you guys. Instead of being a pre-recorded show, we can actually sort of interact with you guys. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok over here. Luis on TikTok. What's up? How you doing? Nielsen 9, was the Fallout comic any good? Yes, yeah, news from the Fallout was good. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that really well. So yeah, this is the the digital equivalent of hanging out with your buddies at the comic book shop on New Comic Book Day
and talk about all that good comic book news and crazy stuff you read that day.
That's right. And let me get over to the comments here. Nurion, how are you? Whoops, did it pop up? Oh yeah. Oh, it's over there. Yeah. Oh, it's small now because we have like a split screen thing. Larry Smith, how you doing? Thanks for being here, Larry. We have your question queued up that we're going to talk about in just a minute, but I figured, can I slide this over? Hold on. We've only got one monitor now because our other one went out, so I'm trying to, and we're on a laptop, so I'm trying to get two windows on one thing there. I think that's a little bit better. Let me test this out again. There we go. That's a little better. Yeah. So I thought we'd start with the way we always start with our picks of the week.
Woo!
Because this was a tough week. Usually there's a clear front runner for me anyway, and this one was pretty tricky because there were, I think, when I like to rate my comics on the League of Comic Geeks app, and I think this time around I think I rated like 4 different books at a full 5 stars.
Wow. Yeah.
So it was tough to pick a pick of the week for me, but I think my pick this week is the new History of the DC Universe.
Oh, you stole my pick.
You gotta pick a different one then.
I got the Dan Mora cover for that. Oh, my pick then will be...
Well, you can have the same one.
No, we can't.
Totally can.
I really like Justice League,
Mm-hmm.
Superman. I'm also going to say I really liked Hyde Street. I thought this was awesome. And a special nod to VR Troopers #1. I thought that was a lot of fun as well. Looking forward to seeing where that goes. But yeah, if we, because I feel like a lot of times we do agree on kind of what was the best of the week.
Yeah.
So if I have to pick a different one, I would maybe say either Justice League Unlimited or Hyde Street was my next pick.
Yeah, I usually have like a top. There we go. I think see the little thing is. We don't have good signal back here.
Do we need to open the door or something?
I don't know. We'll maybe.
Probably the fan. The fan's probably blowing our signal away.
That's right. Yeah, here we are. Are we back, guys? Sorry about that. Yeah, we maybe we could. You want to try opening the door?
Does that work? Is that a thing?
I don't know. I mean, we're opening the door to our studio here.
We got to let the Wi-Fi
let the Wi-Fi in.
It did jump up to 2.
There you go. You're back. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Walt. So, Walt, what were you asking? Is that a gift bag? Do we win that?
Oh, this is just my week's worth of comics that I bought.
That's what we should start doing. Every time we do this show, your books can be the prize.
Oh, man.
You've already read them, so...
Oh, I haven't read them all. I haven't read the new issue of Star Wars Insider, which I selfishly buy because sometimes I think I'm going to be in it.
All right.
I mean, who wouldn't do that?
But
I'm not going to be humble about things like that.
Especially, you humble brag, right?
Yeah.
But so I thought, History of the DC Universe, and then Ultimate Spider-Man, and then third for me is I think I would go out on a limb and say Spider-Man and Wolverine #2.
Okay, yeah, I didn't buy it, but so far I have really been enjoying that.
Yeah, or you can gift a comic of the week. We'll do something someday. We have all your art, your sketches.
I know we keep talking about giving those away, and I can produce those pretty fast.
Right.
So
that would be fun. And then
oversaturate the market with my art.
That's right.
Until I'm worthless.
Already there. No.
Oh man.
But then and also thought that Fantastic Four #33 was really high up there too, because that was a really good finale to that run. very like edge of your seat. Like I knew that Ben was going to get his powers back, but I was still kind of like, oh my gosh, is this going to work? Because they had to do so much in like nanoseconds. And I'm like, oh gosh, is this going to work? And then Herbie's there and his monologue through all this, you know, and it's one of those stories of like, you know, a robot learned how to love, one of those things. But it was really, really sweet. Like it almost brought a tear to my eye. So I really, really enjoyed Fantastic Four number 33. So yeah, a lot of good stuff this week. It was kind of hard to choose the best one. Any news on who's going to feature in Justice League Red?
Do I have it right here?
Because there might be number 2 in that. And he's got the catalog that computes. It really was like Fantastic Four. And I really, if you want to read a story like that, Fantastic Four number 33, you can pretty much read on its own. You know, all you need to know is that Ben got turned to normal and they want to give him his powers back. That's all you really need to know. And then you can go read that and read a really touching story of Herbie trying to do whatever he needs to do to save the Fantastic Four. It was really well done.
I think Justice League Red, at least so far, is Power Girl, Cyborg, Simon Baz, Green Lantern, Red Canary, and maybe Red Tornado, or that's the story is about Red Tornado.
Well, Red Tornado is the one who brings them all together, but I don't know if he gets put back in a body and goes out with the team, or if he's still running point from the Watchtower.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm looking forward to that, and with talks in the solicitation for Aquaman that there might be a Justice League Blue.
Right.
So they're just covering all of the original Pokemon games. Next, we're going to get Gold and Silver.
Yeah. Justice League Sapphire and Diamond and whatever else.
Justice League XY. Yeah. So can't wait for Justice League Snap, where they go around taking pictures
of each other. Yeah. So Hunter wants to know when's the DC's Omnibus coming out. I'm not sure. The FOC date for that passed already, but I don't remember the release date yet. So. Oh, yeah, we're not. You're fine. This is our like live. This is our raw. We had to open the door because we weren't getting a good signal back here. But we're just doing our live show. Yeah, that too. Yeah, but yeah, no worries. Yeah, so I'm not sure. It's coming out. I want to say later this year, but I don't have the exact date. If you could probably just Google. I could probably pull up League of Comic Geeks and look, but yeah, it'll be in the next couple months, I'm sure. And then Walt says, I'm hearing that One World Under Doom number 6 may be a key issue. You know, I can see that with the way that number 5 ended and the fact that there's a 2-month gap. It doesn't come back till August. And, with the way that number 5 ended, they're like, oh, I know how to beat him and this kind of thing. So
a key issue for the story. Yeah, I think it's going to.
Right.
But a key issue as in like grab it because it's going to be collectible. I don't think so.
No.
Because it's
integral to the story. For sure.
I do think yes, because I think we're going to get a lot of answers. In that issue about what actually Doom has been doing and what is going on behind the scenes and everything.
And 30 variants for number 6. That's
that's just par for the course.
Have we talked about that one on Comics from the Future already? Is that already on? Has that already been on FOC? I guess not. If it doesn't come out till August.
No, we talked about it.
Did we?
Yeah, I talked about it on this last one.
Oh, okay. Did we go over 30 variants?
Don't think so.
Huh. I'm looking forward to it though. Like I think that number 6 will. Well, I guess we have 6, 7, 8, 9 left. So I feel like that will be like the final act, like the third act. Everything is going to start coming to a head, starting with number 6, especially the way it ended. I'm still reading Blood Hunt, so I can't read the other events like Venom War and One World Under Doom. I still have 25 comics to collect. I mean, technically, you could read those. Like those don't really have anything to do with each other, so you could.
The end of Blood Hunt does set up One World Under Doom.
Yeah, but I mean, just with the Doctor Doom thing. Yeah. But Venom War, you could read. It's completely detached from anything else.
That's Marvel has branches. There's the Avengers branch, Spider-Man branch, X-Men branch. Those kind of shift around when they take place next to each other. So usually you can read one of those and not have to worry about the other.
And Walt says, I think it's out next week. 30 variants may be an exaggeration, 5 to 6. So number 6 is definitely out in August because they did say there was a 2-month jump. And we were talking the other day. I feel like it might be the reason for the 2-month gap might be because of the new Fantastic Four #1 that comes out in July. And in that book, the Fantastic Four find themselves, each one of them are in a different time period. Mm-hmm. And it has something to do with like a battle with Doctor Doom. So I wonder if that's kind of like part 5.5 or something like that. If maybe that's why. So, maybe it doesn't come out until August because we have this little like middle story with the Fantastic Four. And that's a way to take the Fantastic Four off the table for One World Under Doom, because like if they're not a big part of the story featuring Doctor Doom, you might be like, where are the Fantastic Four at?
They should be the forefront leading against Doom.
Yeah, they should be the centerpiece of this story. So I feel like maybe Marvel said, we don't really want them to be the centerpiece of the story, so we need to do something else with them so that they can't come in and like take care of. I don't know. That's just my guess. But speaking of big stories and things like that, that kind of leads us to Larry's question about, and I did have to shorten this down a little bit, about so he says, do you have any theories on how Marvel brings the Ultimate titles together when the Maker gets out? Because the Maker, the Ultimate Universe is set in real time. Ultimate Spider-Man just came out today, and it's set in June. We know the Maker's Dome is going to open up in December or maybe January. I'm not 6 months left.
Yeah. Sometimes when it refers to the month, it's the beginning of the month or at the end of the month. It kind of shifts around.
So I don't know. I feel like this is, just my guess, but I just feel like that they're all going to come together somehow, because the Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion miniseries, which there's only been the one issue, but like we know that #2, Black Panther will meet at least some of the Ultimates for the first time, which will be the first time that those characters have ever met. So, and we know that I think maybe the 3rd issue, Miles is going to run into the Ultimate X-Men, like the girls in Japan, so I feel like maybe that miniseries might be the thing that introduces some of the heroes to each other.
I think it's when it comes to when the Maker gets out of his dome, it has to do with the, the Maker's Council, because they each have a representative that they're facing.
Yeah.
And clearly, they're all going to want to be there when the Maker comes out, and I feel like that's going to draw all of the other characters to them, and then you've got them all there at once.
Yeah, because part of Larry's comment that I couldn't fit in does mention that right now all the books feel very separate.
Yeah,
which I agree with. But I do feel like that maybe this incursion storyline might bring some together, or
at least make them familiar with each other.
Yeah, or when the Maker comes out, and the Maker comes out, he's like, all right, Council, it's ready to, start tearing stuff down. And that might spur on all the heroes from all the different regions to come together. I'm not really sure, but I do think that there will be some kind of coming together of the heroes in some way.
Surely that's going to be a big event book. That's going to be...
Right, that's what I think. And it'll be called this Marvel Crisis of Incursion Universes. That write it up right there.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I will pre-order that #1.
So yeah, I think we'll see pretty soon. Maybe like you're saying during the Spider-Man Incursion, what's going to at least bring them somewhat together. But I feel like they're going to end up all at the same spot at the Dome when it opens up. And I don't think it's going to be as straightforward as we think. I don't think the Maker's going to walk out and be like, haha. I mean, what if it opens up and it's just a corpse? Like, what if something happened in there? Because he's not the only one trapped in there. So
Howard Stark's in there.
In there. What if they come out and they're like, we're best buds now? Like, there's a lot of weird stuff that can happen that I don't feel like, especially with Hickman behind it, it's not going to be clear cut exactly what you think is going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. Or Howard is the new Maker. Howard killed the Maker, and now Howard's the new Maker. I don't know. This, it could be anything. I mean, I do feel like sky's the limit on that one. I like Walt says, you're right. One World Under Doom #6 is out in August. That's what I get for testing professional comic shop folks' knowledge. We're the only professional comic shop folks that you need, or nor not. That's that.
These are things I get paid to know.
Right? Yeah. That's our job, is to know when this stuff comes out. But no worries. It is confusing, especially with a 2-month jump. Like when the rest of the series hasn't had a 2-month jump, and also there is. So
I mean, we didn't even expect that until. I mean, we probably could have seen it coming, but like the last page saying we'll be back in 2 months was like, oh, Okay.
I know, right? Even Marvel acknowledged it. And I'm glad that they did that, because otherwise there would have been reports of, it got delayed and blah blah blah.
And they're changing stuff.
Yeah,
it's like no, this was a scheduled.
Yeah,
delay.
they scheduled this. Nurion asks if you could choose, what would the next batch of Absolute titles be?
We've talked about that before.
I definitely want an Absolute Green Arrow. I think that could be really cool.
Yeah, and I've said Absolute Aquaman.
Absolute Nightwing, which we met Dick Grayson very briefly in number 9 of Absolute Batman.
Yeah, when do you think we'll hear? You think San Diego will hear about the next ones?
Maybe. I think Scott Snyder said, there are 2 more coming, but not until 2026. But I do think San Diego would be a good place to announce that. Ultimate Howard the Duck. I would read that. Absolute Swamp Thing.
Yeah. In Absolute Swamp Thing, he's either just a swamp or just a guy that maybe smells really bad.
Just a swamp or just a thing. But I still have this. Of course, we saw in Absolute Flash number 4. Did that come out today? That was last week.
Last week. So
we got there was some name drops of some other characters. So Firestorm was one of them. That's the Absolute book I want. Yeah. I love Firestorm, and he doesn't get enough love in the main universe, so give him an Absolute book. I don't know. I mean, my big thing, I love Green Arrow, so my thing, and I love Green Lantern. We already have that one, so my thing is Absolute Green Arrow. Just give it to me. And maybe, the thing that he lost is, maybe he lost his trip to the island. He's still rich, right? So that would be like, I guess he's rich in the comics too. And
I feel like it would be too close to Batman to be like, he was never rich and he still got stranded on.
Well,
he was on a budget cruise.
And
then fell off the boat.
That's why I'm trying to think like how that would work. I think it could. I'm just not creative enough to.
I just think Absolute Aquaman would be, he doesn't have Atlantis. Atlantis was destroyed, or maybe he's not king.
He can't breathe underwater.
He's really good at holding his breath, but he cannot breathe underwater.
Yeah, he can hold it for like maybe 5 minutes tops, but then he's got to go up for air.
Yeah.
Are y'all excited for Chips and Darcy Captain America? 1,000,000% yes, and that comes out next week. So hopefully our shipment comes in on Friday like it normally does. Hopefully everything comes in on time so that we can read it over the weekend and tell you guys how awesome it is on Monday, if it is awesome, which I feel like it is. We've seen some preview pages have been released officially online, and it looks so cool. Captain America's on a motorcycle, which that's all I need.
Yeah,
I love Captain America on a motorcycle. I'm very, very excited for it because it has been a minute since I've had a Captain America, Steve Rogers Captain America book that I enjoy.
Yeah,
and I think this one could be it. I think this could be. His Zdarsky's Daredevil was awesome, and my second favorite Daredevil ever. So let him work his magic with Captain America. Yeah, his Daredevil was top notch. Same. That's how I feel. His Daredevil was top notch, so I have high hopes for this one. And the art looks great. And the first story arc features Captain America versus Doctor Doom.
Yeah,
like it doesn't get any better than that. It takes place in his early days after being unfrozen from the ice. So I'm just all about it.
Yeah. So I do want to talk about what we were talking about before we started this with the
Ultimate,
with the talks of the Ultimate books ending at issue 24.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a rumor that's been going around, and we were talking about what we think about that and if it's true or not. So let us know in the comments, because I had only heard about that when you sent it to me. But it's based off the idea that they'll end when the Maker comes out of the dome. And we both were like, yeah, the problem with saying that is the books are not all running consecutively.
Yeah, they're not all on the same number.
Yeah, especially Ultimates, which came out later. So it would be weird if you're like, they all ended and it's like, yep, and Ultimates has a couple more issues and then it's over. It doesn't line up well. But you think about what the Ultimate and what Marvel tends to do, and we were saying what's probably going to happen is you're going to reach issue 24
of Ultimate Spider-Man,
of Ultimate Spider-Man, or they'll maybe try to get them as close as they can. You'll have this big event. Maybe they'll be it'll be Kind of like how they did like Ultimate Death of Spider-Man, something like that. But this is going to be something that they all lead up to the Dome. And then after that event, they will probably they'll start new Ultimate Spider-Man at number 1.
Yeah.
And they'll drop a title or two. They'll start a new title or two, because the original Ultimate Universe did that, I think, twice.
Well, that was a pain too. They did it, after a number of years as a way to.
But Marvel's different than they were at that time.
Yeah.
Used to, they would let a book go into the hundreds.
Right.
Now they don't like them getting that high.
We were joking that Ultimate Spider-Man is going to hit number 24, which these days is a pretty high number for Marvel, and like maybe nobody at Marvel has realized that until just now. And they're like, wait a second. We've let a book get up to number 24. Sound the alarm. The red lights start flashing. Somebody get a new number 1 out there. How can we have let this happen?
Yeah,
somebody's getting fired over this.
So, like Larry Smith says here, Ultimate titles, some Marvel's bestsellers, doubt they would end it.
Yes, this right here. That perfect.
Yes, they wouldn't end it, but don't put it past Marvel to have a new number 1.
Yes.
So they would bet on, the same people who are currently buying Ultimate Spider-Man wouldn't drop off, but maybe you'd gain 5 more people from having number 1. That's good enough for them to do a number 1. So originally, like back in the day, we had Ultimate Spider-Man, and then we had Ultimate Comics Spider-Man.
Right.
Or Ultimate Comics Ultimate Spider-Man.
Hated that so bad.
Yeah, because especially when you had Ultimate Comics Ultimates.
Yeah.
Was a very dumb title and stuff. But those started at a new number 1 and went forward for a shorter period of time. Same writer, they got a different artist on there, but I feel like we were saying you could probably maybe see Hickman not coming back to Ultimate Spider-Man if they had a new number 1, and maybe have a new architect for the Ultimate Universe after that. Then we wouldn't be leading up to the Maker. It would be something else. Yeah. You would see, Ultimate Wolverine, of course, is a mini series that would end. Maybe we'd get an Ultimate Captain America series, or an Ultimate Thor, or Ultimate Hulk, or something like that. Maybe with one of the new characters they introduced.
Yeah.
But I would say don't put it past them to end them and then start new number 1s. Maybe in January or February.
Yeah, and I would stress, don't believe the things you read about the Ultimate Universe ending with number 24, because again, they're not all on the same number anyway. The Ultimate Universe is selling so well right now that Marvel would be crazy to end it. So the minute I heard that even though it was like, a co-writer said that they're all ending, I immediately thought there's just no way. There's no way with the way these books sell, there is no way that they're going to let that end. So I just thought, oh yeah, well they're building toward this Maker event. That's going to happen, and then they'll like renumber everything, and like you said, maybe new books or whatever. But there is no way the Ultimate Universe is gonna go away. There's no way. You said the most Marvel thing would be for this big fight with the Maker to result in a new Ultimate Universe, and then we get new number 1s in a new universe, and Spider-Man's a little bit different. I don't think that'll happen, but I wouldn't put it past
that
Marvel.
Would be the most. Yes. Jason said that
Marvel just reset it.
The Marvel just reset it. Yeah, so comics also are a business, and they're always, they're a creative business and stuff, but they are looking how, even if something's working, it can work better.
Yeah.
How do we do that? And they have the mindset now of, you see a high number, people, if they can't go back and get the reprints or something like that, then they're no longer a customer for that book. So they want to do a new number 1 or have a new jumping on point. That's just the nature of it now. And they're going to, if something is selling, they will keep it going. Even if it wasn't intended, even if a writer's like, I only have an idea for 6 issues, they'll be like, then we'll find a new writer. That's just how the business works now.
Well, I think Marvel is in a good position with this, because yes, Marvel will just reset it, but I feel like with the Ultimate Universe and what they've built here, Marvel can reset the Ultimate Universe without actually resetting it, because I feel like they could the Maker could come out, they could beat him, they could put the world back the way it was, reestablishing the United States, getting rid of the Maker's Council, and basically it's a new status quo for the world.
Yeah.
Which would kind of sort of be a reset for the universe, but without being a reset like a Crisis.
It would almost be like not a reset, but like actually setting up a functional universe.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I really feel like it would be like a reset without being a reset. You know, they fixed everything because they introduced us to this world after when it was already broken.
Yeah.
So the reset is them just fixing it and then just continuing on. You know, I feel like that could be kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think I was saying before too. You could see the Ultimates ending and then we getting Ultimate Avengers.
Maybe, yeah.
Or books look familiar, but they might have a little spin on their titles, and then it kind of makes them go forward from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have Ultimate Captain America, where his new goal is to, like, I want to establish the world that I.
Maybe he travels the country, like, fixing smaller things that, like, in putting things back, like you said, that remnants of the world that he knew before he went in the ice. He wants. I don't know. That sounds awesome to me. I'd buy that in a heartbit.
There's so much stuff that they could do,
and
with how powerful the Maker is and all of that, it could be anything.
Yeah.
But all that to say, no, I don't believe they will end at 24 permanently.
I definitely don't. Like, I don't even worry about that for a second. That, oh my gosh, the Ultimate Universe is going away. Not a chance. So to me, there's just a question is like, what's it going to be, after, in the beginning of 2026 or maybe like a couple months in, what's the story going to be? But no way at all do I think it's going to go away.
And once again, I do maybe think San Diego Comic-Con will hear at least what the event's going to be, or a tease for the Maker coming out of the dome, what that will be. Because we just got those solicitations for October. This is going to be December or January. It's, we're going to know within 2-3 months what the next kind of big thing is going to look like for the Ultimate Universe. So,
because I'm not, like what you said, this was September?
This is September.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in another couple of months, we'll have the solicitations for November, December. So even if nothing is announced at San Diego, we'll have it in this in a couple of months.
Yeah.
So, So that's our thoughts on Ultimate Universe. I think we're safe. Maybe I could maybe see maybe Ultimate Black Panther doesn't come back or something like that. Maybe we lose a book and we gain a book or something. But
that will happen eventually.
Yeah.
I mean, also because that's just the thing. Even ongoing series are mini series.
Right.
I mean, no book lasts forever. Every book gets rebooted or ends or changes or something. So this is not going to go on forever and ever.
Yeah.
So it's going to change at some point.
Yeah.
And I think Marvel wants to be ahead of that before it becomes a necessity.
Mm-hmm. I like this question from Walt. What's a little known comic that you feel more people should read? Mine is the 80s called Baker Street from Caliber Press. It's a punk reimagining of Sherlock Holmes. No, Sherlock Holmes. I've never heard of that. This isn't. I don't know if this doesn't really count. And I swear this is not recency bias. But I've said this a lot lately. I do not understand how there are not a ton of people reading the current Moon Knight run from Marvel. Like, that book is like Marvel's most underrated book. Like, that thing is so good for what I'm guessing is probably not a lot of people reading it, especially 9 issues into the 3rd run of Jed MacKay's run. Like, it is so amazingly good. Like, to me, it's a better Batman book than Batman is right now. And I feel like that's everybody should be reading. Everybody should have been reading Moon Knight from the beginning of Jed MacKay's run back in 2021 and across to his next run, and then now his current run with Moon Knight Fist of Khonshu. Like, to me, that's I feel like that's little known because I just don't hear people talking about it. And normally I wouldn't say much about it, but the fact that it's so good and that I don't hear people talking about it, that I'd have to say that.
I would say, which is relevant right now, Six Gun. I think everyone should have been reading Six Gun and go back and get the collected editions. A lot of books from Oni and Cullen Bunn both are fantastic. I will always say Fables. It's one of my favorite series of all time. And people who maybe don't like mainstream superhero books need to read Fables because it's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I have so many, like, used to I would have said Invincible because there was a time where no one talked about Invincible and everybody talked about Walking Dead. Go back and just look at so many Vertigo titles. The Unwritten is phenomenal. There was you just got the big book today 100 Bullets.
Oh, right, yeah.
Scalped.
Scalped is good.
Yeah, there's so many from like Vertigo, or maybe some publishers that are either defunct or have changed a lot since then, like Vertigo or some of Oni's old books, that it's really worth taking a dive into some of those. And you'll also see names that you recognize now, but it was early stuff. Like, I know they put out compact edition everything. American Vampire by Scott Snyder and Rafael Albuquerque is phenomenal.
American Vampire is so good. I'm halfway through the second omnibus, right at where the new series launched, like second generation or whatever. American Vampire is so good. I would actually maybe say like some of the like the second generation of Image books, like Chew, things like that. Like, I know people did read that back in the day, but it's been long enough now to where I feel like there's a whole new generation of readers that maybe aren't familiar with that stuff from that era. Like, maybe like go back and read some of like wave 2 of Image, you know, like early 2000s stuff.
There's some phenomenal stuff.
Yeah.
I know Sweet Tooth got a show, but a lot of people still haven't read Sweet Tooth. That's phenomenal. I still currently buy and love Savage Dragon, and like no one reads that. I mean, it's got a very core group of fans, but I think it's just incredible. It's gone on so long, and it's in real time and characters age. I just think that's so cool. Man,
talking about like, you know, we're talking about the Ultimate Universe going in real time. Savage Dragon did it first, or did it before them anyway. I don't know if he was the first one, but they did it before the Ultimate Universe, and they're still, you know, he's still doing it 30 years later.
There was a really good book by, I know Becky Cloonan did the art, called American Virgin. It was for Vertigo that was really good. Greek Street was a cool book. God, there's so many books. When I came into reading comics like 2008, like on a regular basis, Vertigo had a library of really good things to check out. Northlander was really good, and there's so many great titles out there that have kind of like gone to the bargain bin or the used bookstore. But
I want to just go back in second Six Gun. Like, that thing is phenomenal. I've only read like the first 12 issues or so, but I've got all 3. You got the 3 compendiums too, right?
Is it 3 or 4?
Well, there was 3, but then, which was the main series, but then there was a 4th one that captured all the extra stuff.
I have that one too. I've got all. When they were putting those out, I was like, yes, I'm getting all of these. So Six Gun, like everybody, and the fact that they did release those compendiums, it's very, very easy to read, to go find those. Like, everybody should be reading Six Gun. What was that, like 15 years ago that came out? Yeah, it was the 15th anniversary with the new one that came out.
And there's new ones coming. You know, we had the one shot a couple weeks ago. There was one on
There's
FOC.
There's a 3-issue thing coming up.
It's on FOC this weekend. So Six Gun, absolutely. And plus, I still say Moon Knight. Everybody should be reading Moon Knight. Six Gun had an amazing Kickstarter version too, really.
That was one of the first like things I was like, oh, that's already come out, but they're doing like a big fancy deluxe edition of it. I think that was the one that was like in the coffin, and it was like, because there's that character that's in like the old
fancy hardcovers.
Saloon, or the old like West wooden coffin, and like the book came in that, and is very, very cool.
I would like some Six Gun hardcovers. I mean, I just love that series. It so perfectly blends like Western with supernatural and monsters, and it almost, to me, at least as far as I read, almost felt a little bit RPG as well. Like, you got your little RPG party, you know, you've got your shooter, and you got your it's not these roles, but you know, you got your DPS guy, your healer. There's a guy that comes in, I think, in the second story arc that always reminded me of like Barrett from Final Fantasy VII. So it felt very like RPG group, and I don't. It was just this, and I like the artwork. It fit the book, and
it's so whimsical. Like you'll just be like, "Oh wow, like that's such a cool idea." It's so mysterious and everything that.
Yeah, it screams for a quality TV show. Did you see the pilot? They made, it was going to be a TV show. They made a pilot. It's on YouTube, and I want to say they made it back in like 2012, and it was on NBC. And it's awful. It's terrible. Like
but you said, like they got like the casting.
The cast is all wrong, but they were close because they had the guy, the second guy who played. Oh, he was in Game of Thrones, and he's been in a few other things as well. He played Drake Sinclair, but then Pedro Pascal was on that show as like one of the the bad guys or the ne'er-do-wells. But on that show, he's a spitting image of Drake Sinclair, whereas the other guy playing him isn't. And then it was weird because they use like modern day music in the action scenes. Yeah. They use like rock music and stuff. And it was like, this is not the girl who played, is her name Becky? The main girl.
So, yeah.
She was pretty good, but like, it was just like, it was not good. Like it was like a 45-minute thing on YouTube. It felt like 3 hours. And I'm like, I can see why this didn't get picked up, but they tried.
Oh, also Nailbiter.
Oh,
Nailbiter is one of the best horror books ever.
Yeah.
Joshua Williamson's Nailbiter is from start to finish incredible.
Yeah, I think I read Nailbiter. I love three books like that.
2 Halloweens ago?
2 Halloweens ago, I think. Yeah, and I've got the complete compendium. I could not put that thing down.
Yeah.
Like, and because it reads really quick, I always think of like, it's like drinking water on a hot day. You just keep going, like I just kept turning pages, and like, it was one of those ones where I'm like, man, it's like 2 a.m. I really need to go to bed. I gotta stop.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nailbiter is because I just wanted to get to the end. I wanted to like unlock the mystery, right? There's like all these mysteries, and I wanted to unlock that. So yeah, Nailbiter.
You would see something, you're like, what is this underwater?
Yeah.
How did this what does this have to do with? And yeah, it's so good.
And maybe like one extra Birthright. Speaking of Joshua Williamson, that's really cool. I haven't read all of that yet, but
Dark Ride that came out a year or two ago is really good, and it's only like 20 issues or maybe not even that much.
Yeah,
that's really good.
I'm trying to think of like my image I have an image shelf and an other shelf. I'm trying to think like what else is on that stuff, but like a lot of just a lot of that like early 2000s image stuff. Yeah. All right. So it is almost 7. We got to close up shop, so we have got to hop off here. But we do appreciate you guys hanging out with us so much. This is a really big, awesome new comic book day. New comic book day. I think when we come back in 2 weeks, what's that going to be?
Is that post-Superman?
Yeah, so, well, it will be for us. So 2 weeks from now, July 9th will be our next show, and that will be, if you guys are going to see Superman with via the Prime screening where you can see it a few days early. We're going to do that. We're going to see it on the 8th. So we can talk about Superman very spoiler-free, of course. We would not want us to ruin anything for you. We can do that.
Maybe we can, I know you're going to be on a podcast talking about your Superman recommendations.
Yeah, that'll be tomorrow.
Maybe just talk about like the best Superman books and stuff to check out, because we've been in deep with a lot of them.
Yeah. Jason, we do sell back issues at our store. Not so many online. There are some online, but they're more in collections.
Yeah.
But here, right outside there, we got dozens of boxes full of back issues. Absolutely. All right, guys. Yeah, we are going to head out. We're going to go count down the registers, close up the shop. But appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We'll have our next video, Comics from the Future, on Friday. There's a whole bunch of really cool stuff on FOC this weekend. Big preview videos next Monday, Captain America and all that stuff. And we'll see you back on this show in 2 weeks where we can talk about Superman. So you guys have a good one, and we will see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.